Look, I totally understand that this opinion of mine is pretty far-fetched, so please take this whole video with a huge grain of salt. Also, I am not making this video in order to defend Katy's new album in any way. The cover art is really cute and all, and I like the soundscapes of 143 a lot, but there is not a single big hit to be found on this album, sadly. It is all just a very soulless, inauthentic, cold, and impersonal production and experience. I mean, is there anybody who believed her when she said that it is her most personal record yet? And don't artists say that about every record they have to promote? LMAO. This one here is literally something that an AI program could have come up with, and it deserves all the slandering it is going through at the moment. Oh, and whoever decided to hire Dr. Luke to be one of the producers on this album, I hope that what goes around will eventually come around. Even if your name happens to be Katy Perry, sorry not sorry. Not just that, I need to agree with all the other YouTubers who have addressed before me that it was really ridiculous and shameful of Katy to not only not apologize in the slightest but instead low-key justify, if not defend, Dr. Luke's involvement and input on the album's production the way she seemingly did in interviews. Anyways, most of us will agree that 143 is a less than stellar and less than desirable album, and another major reason why that is because while Katy's earlier albums never scored high with the critics, she was undoubtedly a fan favorite and radio station hopper and stopper for the longest time, a true goddess among the greatest musicians in the pop and pop rock heavens, and very rightfully so. Her catalog is filled to the brim with not only hit songs, but her songs in general were always coated with that special Katy Perry charm, which made them sound interesting and special. For Christ's sake, even Paris Hilton's new album Infinite Icon delivers more songs that are interesting to listen to. Like, honestly, I would rather go and spend my time with her album than to waste it on whatever 143 tried to contribute to the pop music landscapes. With all of that being said, why is it that Katy's newer albums, especially the unpopular Bitch 143, seemingly lost that special Katy Perry magic and flavor? Well, first of all, many people in the industry are recruited and booked to collaborate on big projects such as this album, and while the results of these collaborations, at times, turn out to be big hits, at other times they sadly flop for all kinds of reasons. Katy has been very involved in her work and song-making processes from day one, and tastes in art or music, as well as taste-based preferences in music making, can change over the years, and while sometimes they change for good, sometimes they simply change for the worse, I guess. Second, Katy Perry is one of those musicians who has always worked super hard on not only her music but her career in general, and she did so for over 2 decades now. We all know that it is not like she was just resting on being pretty while her success unfolded by itself. She is a certified powerhouse when it comes to working efficiently and working in the music business. But then again, even powerhouses like her eventually get older and run dry when it comes to ambition, creativity, originality, spice, and dare I say work ethic. But what if these reasons are not the metaphorical culprits we are looking for? What if she simply didn't want her new album to be as big as her first albums? After all, it is a known fact that making music, especially hit music or artistically outstanding music, takes a lot of freaking time and hard work, no matter how big of a star or a team you are. And along with releasing such big bodies of work in the entertainment industry comes, of course, promoting them, which is connected to even more of that aforementioned hard work. Katy has been on a Married with Children stage in her life for a while now, and I can remember that, during her first few albums, she was working and touring non-stop, something that she probably can't afford to do or simply doesn't need to go through at this point in her life any longer. I mean, hasn't she reached pretty much everything one person in music can reach, realistically speaking? With that being said too, sure, it is very sad that 143 didn't produce mega hits such as I Kissed a Girl or Firework, but don't forget that, while big artists like her are obligated to release a certain number of albums to fulfill contractual agreements, maybe some of these artists secretly intend or try to slow down their careers, either for a few years or maybe permanently, and somehow convince or trick their companies into releasing projects that lean more towards the mediocre side and thus avoid intense fame-related responsibilities and work. Or maybe it's the decisions and choices of labels like hers to take a step back. Maybe it's because they lack the money to support gigantic projects at that time, or maybe they even lack enough staff members, or dare I say efficient staff. Believe me when I tell you that most adolescents and 20-somethings I had to work with recently are not only very incompetent, they also tend to be unwilling to learn and listen and work efficiently, causing a lot of chaos and selfishness at even the simplest, most caring work environments. Or maybe the companies make these choices because it might not be worth it or possible or simply rational to blow up that big and then tame the big beast of a fame monster that comes along with all of the attention and stan craze, if that makes any sense. I mean, after all, in the age of chronically online, where even the most illiterate and inexperienced ones act like they are high-end critics, would you still want to be that superstar who is constantly in the public eye? In a world that is getting more rude and ruthless and lawless by the day, maybe, just maybe, releasing a mediocre album like 143 to please the fandom and the club girls, but not to necessarily tear up the planet and reinvent the wheel, especially as a married mother in her late 30s who has already reached unimaginable heights, is the best choice you can make in order to create an adequate work-life balance, I guess. Anyways, that is all I have got to say about this topic. I hope you know which album to avoid at the record stores now. Just kidding. Bye loves.